So, fandom.
I've gone round to people's houses and forced them to watch.
Force-fed them it. I talked to them nicely about it beforehand because I'm that kind of person. And if they don't want to watch it,
I'll put it on anyway. I sat through the whole series once and that took a couple of days. It's something to do, something to follow. It sparks off your imagination. It keeps you off the streets. I'm a fan of.
It's very artistic. It's the creative side I like more than anything, and it inspires me in my own work.
The word cult comes from a fan-based thing.
It brings people together. It's a nice icebreaker when meeting people to know what you have similar interests.
I just looked at every YouTube video, every possible picture and downloaded stuff. I haven't done anything extreme, I don't think.
I want to be the yellow one because hers turns into a saber-toothed tiger. Every girl seems to like the pink one, but she turns into a pterodactyl. At the minute I'm mad about.
I came across it by chance. I was not that bothered at first, but it willed itself into my heart and now I can't speak a sentence without something
coming up, pretty sad really.
I suppose I like it so much because
Is in it, and I fancy him quite a bit, which is really odd because he's not attractive at all. I might not like it quite as much if he wasn't in it, to be honest. I was a very different person when I was younger.
it was my only obsession then. I wanted to be just like.
I did my whole bedroom like a
circuit with a checkered black and white border, a flag, racing hats. I wrote to
And got a reply.
I get absolutely obsessed about something for a few months, writing fan fiction and doing fan art.
slipping my interest into everyday conversation, trying to get all my friends to like it. It's usually a film or book.
Something with big backstory and that I can escape into.
And I usually get a horrific crush on the most popular character. In fact, sometimes that's the main cause. I did a lot of...
When I was younger, I didn't even realise I'd broken my leg until I went to hospital with it. I once ended up hitting an overhanging tree whilst doing an 8-foot jump on a...
Landed on me and I was ripped. And I got ripped open from my hip to my knee.
Got up in shock, dusted myself off and then moaned about my brand new...
Being scratched, then my mum told me off and doused me in iodine.
It wasn't too bad. I watch every London and New York
week. Paris shows online have been buying
since the age of 10. Even though I can't really afford it now, I follow anything that's in style and try to do it in my own way.
I've a bit of an addictive personality. I find something I'm interested in and stick with it until I've exhausted it. Then I'll move on to something else.
Some people know about things, but I live in them.
Until I know everything there is. I've also read so much on...
Just reading all the source material about all the races, planets. It interests me when people create a really deep universe.
You can see all the detail and thought that's been put into it. Makes you an interesting person.
And I hang around with like-minded people, so I'm not the only shadow in the room.
The first thing I got massively into was...
I started buying all the games, drawing pictures until my room became plastered in posters and almost had a little shrine with shampoo bottles and models. Then I got into...
And I kind of developed a shrine to that too. It's still there. Although the
stuff is gone now, I realised that I got curtains, a bed set and scaring people I love.
I think I've seen every episode with...
He is beautiful as the Doctor.
He's kind of got me into sci-fi. We watched the
movie the other day, and before...
I had never watched anything like that before.
When came out, I got into that. Started buying all the costumes, the swords, reading the books. My room became littered with loads of stuff until it got a bit creepy.
I used to do drawings and paintings. I wrote songs.
One of which I still have. It made you look at the world differently. You became part of it.
I think it was also a kind of escapism.
Me and my friends would all go in the car to nightclubs, and I wasn't interested in all that. So when you came across somebody who'd read it,
it was like you were both part of that world and could relate to each other. I'm still slightly fanatic about it. There was a period of months not long ago where I read the trilogy,
And the books about it, nothing else.
I still keep interest, but I've toned them down.
Probably. I've got all the consoles, all the games. I've missed out on sleeping, always trying to get to a certain point. I've ended up missing a meal with friends, realising I was 2 hours late.
Meeting them after playing for 9 hours on.
I don't want to come off too geeky, but I'd say I was a fan of old school
comics. The cliche cheese. I'd reckon...
It's the prime example of fandom. People get so passionate about it.
And they'll hate a team because they beat them one time. I call them
geeks. I loved that.
I used to practice for hours.
Sometimes I would fall asleep at it, but I used to keep repeating the same things over and over, and so I wanted to do well.
I had a timetable for practising, and if I was 2 minutes late, I'd get edgy.
One day on the way to practising, I had a bag of flour. I dropped it and it went everywhere, so all I did was walk through the flour to the...
And carry on practising, I just left it. It didn't matter, as I loved the...
So much. I'm a mega fan in an unhealthy way, to the point where I'd like to rape.
I've only been to 2 concerts and it's not good enough. I got right to the front and...
Played right over me. I was probably dribbling, staring open-mouthed, wanting him to sweat on me.
I met my partner through our...
interest on Last FM, met a lot of fans on there, and now we're practically married.
When I picked it off the bookshelf and read it, every page I turned to left me with this wonderful warm feeling, and I felt I had to read it all. I define myself as a fan because it brings out a spiritual response in me.
It makes my heart flutter. I used to be quite a geek about a lot of things.
mainly, but I lost that phase, so is he better than...
Has a full armoured suit, whereas...
Has just got a couple of gadgets and a cape. I mean, who needs a cape?
All I've done really is watch the film, read the comics.
Have an online dictionary so you can learn all about the characters in full detail. He doesn't just have one suit, he has lots. He's a billionaire, so he can afford them all.
When I was 12, I had both a crush on.
I was always very level-headed, but about what happened for both of them.
that I woke up after a dream and...
Then bang, I got a crush on them. Separately, of course.
For both, I had to have a dream first. I woke up crazy about him. I had a massive poster and used to listen to him a lot on my record player.
Literally is like my Bible.
About 2 years ago, I actually thought I was.
And every storyline that happened to her, I thought happened to me in real life. From the music I listen to the way I dress, all comes from the...
couldn't find season 4 in any of the shops in the 2 towns nearest to me, so I drove to Milton Keynes, about an hour and a half away from where I live, just to buy it.
Was real. I would totally marry him. He's the best character.
As an actual person as well, I wanted to be a model because she was for a while. I did my hair like her and I dressed similar to how she does on the...
I'm going to steal her womb and she can birth my child, and
It will have bright red hair. Her music is gorgeous and beautiful and haunting, and her videos are wonderful too. I wouldn't say I was a massive fan, but I love what she does.
There are things I'm interested in, and then there are things that I'm fanatical about.
If you were obsessed, you'd have to Google them every day.
I'm not a stalker yet. You can only be a fan if you live in the northeast. It's in my blood, I guess.
I've gone to 3 matches, none that we won. We lost 2-0, but our boys played so well that it was okay.
Applauded off the pitch, and I follow it fanatically. I catch up on the radio, Sky Sports, and if the match is on telly, I wouldn't get away until it is finished.
Geordies are friendly to everyone unless they're Makems. There's a lot of tension there. It's the biggest rivalry in the country by a long way.
I worry about...
A lot you could say, like a mother would do for her son. His smoking, his drinking.
He has a really smelly room I'd like to make over. I think about...
All the time, I sing songs and transfer them to be about him.
It's quite easy because of his name. It's hard to say why. He's quite rude and standoffish, which maybe I like about him.
Well, basically, with...
It's just so good.
I love sex, and the 2 of them together is so good. It's such an amazing character. I've even dreamt about him.
The whole chemistry between them is so good.
how it all goes to pot. I've watched all the series, I've pre-ordered the book.
And I know the date. The next season is coming out. I live it every day, the whole 50s thing with...
And lashes, I suppose. I just don't do jeans. I don't do t-shirts. I like the idea of the womanly shape being accentuated.
I like the feeling of being squashed. It's comforting, like being hugged all day.
I wouldn't leave the house without a...
On, ever. When I was little, I used to collect little...
And I used to play with them and make up sitcoms and things. I still have them under the bed somewhere. The one obsession that has lasted since I was younger is the...
I was so obsessed with it that I used to get up an hour early before I left school to watch.
Recorded episode as my mum wouldn't let me stay up and watch it. I have books of facts quizzes to test myself.
And I still can't throw away my card collection.
I own the entire series on DVD now and often watch my favourite episodes. I still use them as a reference and influence on my work.
Always been a fan of stuff, never dressed up or done any of that, as I don't think that's necessary.
I got a tattoo of the band I really like, and I've been to all their gigs. We'll probably get their EP when it comes out, but I don't go mad.
I'd hate to say it, but...
I use it for escapism, not just...
Anything just not racing.
You just get taken with it. You get sucked in and end up shouting at a television screen. I'm also obsessed with
A bit. I just constantly play it. It's taken over from...
A bit actually. I'll just go home and practice and play it loads in my downtimes, making songs up when everyone's gone out the house.
Was another one. I made a
costume out of some old curtains with those big long sleeves, and we did a photo shoot with candles as if we were the...
I saw the first film 3 times at the cinema. The second turned into an obsession by then, and I saw it 5 times.
It was that it didn't exist, that anything could have happened there, and...
Was in it. If
had a fight and could win every time.
I've been to comic cons and things, and they're great fun.
All the costumes, but I never could do it myself. I haven't got the balls. There were people dressed up as...
And I wonder if a fight would break out, but they started hugging and it was cute.
nice to see that people can come together over something.
At first I really didn't like it, because my housemates were obsessed with it, and it was too much.
Then I watched it and wasn't as bad as I thought.
And then for some reason I began to really get obsessed with it, and I had cravings to watch it weekly.
If not daily. Mainly to do with
being in it, if he wasn't in it. I wouldn't like it as much, but I think it's quite a good film.
It's not a crush, it's a full-on love. When I went on holiday, instead of seeing sights, we went to see.
For the third time at the cinema, we got up at 8 in the morning especially to see it.
I haven't gone potty for...
But I have read all the books in 1 week and pre-ordered the film.
But the films are not the same. I went on this TV programme called...
And it was hosted by...
I had to dress up as a parrot and run across a pirate ship. I should have won and I didn't win.
But the show had this other girl win, so my family caused quite a stir about it.
In the after show party, he talked to me and said that I should do some more TV. He was really nice.
Was contacted to do another show. He was there again and he was so funny. I developed a bit of a crush on him.
And I only rang up Central TV Studios pretending to be a relative of his and asked him to call me back.
It's really pathetic and sad. I've become like his stalker. He's like about 50 now and I still think he's pretty cute.
Right, and that's it.